Hey student reporters! Have you ever looked at professional broadcast stories and thought, man, that footage looks so sharp, how do I do that? Well, today I'm going to show you a few tips for how to really make your videography shine. I'm Jordan Veazey, and here are 5 pro tips for how to make your footage pop, otherwise known as the 5 principles of photography. Number 1, motivation. Always think about the motivation for your shot. When you compose a shot for an interview, you want to create a strong image that furthers your story. One way to do this is to place your interviewee against a background that is consistent with your story. If you interview a firefighter inside an ice cream shop, your audience is going to be confused. They might think, is this a story about an ice cream shop that burnt down? Look at this example of an interview we did with a New York City dance performer. We interviewed her in her dressing room with flowers and lights behind her that immediately showed the audience that she was a performer. You can immediately tell what this interview is about based on her background. A strong background that is visually connected to your story helps bring your subject to life and visually shows your audience a person's character. Number 2, always use a tripod. Tripods are magical. They balance your shot and make it steady and leveled. When learning the basics of filmmaking and video production, a tripod helps you eliminate the pitfalls of amateur video. Tripods are also wonderful because they can hold your Tascam, receivers, and all sorts of additional equipment. They can also help you slow down and think about the shot that you're about to take. You can move your tripod into hard-to-reach places, you can set it on uneven terrain, you can place it just about anywhere you want. It frees you from the camera, so you can concentrate on other things, like lighting and the art of the interview. Number 3, the producer sandwich. First, find your existing light source and determine, will you use this light source or do you have artificial light available? Once you choose your light, analyze how it looks against your background. Then position your chair with the interview subject looking into the key light. Next, set the camera opposite the key light source. In this example, Pamela is looking into her key light, which is on the left side, and the camera is placed on the right side. The reverse can also work. In this example, Pamela is looking into her key light, which is on the right side, and so we place the camera on the left. You always place your producer in between the camera and the key light, no matter which direction your key light is coming from. We call this the producer sandwich because you are sandwiching your producer between the key light and the camera on either side of them. Number 4, how to avoid flat video. Broadcast journalism is a visual medium. That means that no matter how well your interview went or how amazing your lighting and audio turned out, if your shot looks flat, everyone's going to notice. A flat shot is a shot with no depth. Students often submit videos to us where people are being filmed up against white walls, next to windows, or next to signs, or in tiny corners. Flat shots are boring to look at and will cause your audience to tune out, and we don't want that, right? Here are some examples of shots with depth. Notice that these shots have layers to them. There's something happening in the background and there's something happening in the foreground. Just like a painting, these shots have vanishing points and perspective. The subjects are far away from their backgrounds. These shots look more cinematic because they utilize depth, making the characters pop off their backgrounds. And one pro tip for if you have to film in a tiny room, shoot through doorways. It's a sneaky way to add depth. That brings me to number 5, shot composition. When you compose your shot, you want to think carefully about how to create a dynamic, interesting image. Whether it's an interview or just B-roll, you want to consider angles, depth, and symmetry. In amateur video, there's a lot of what we call dead space. Dead space is space where absolutely nothing is going on in the frame. It's basically extra space around your subject that you don't need. One way to avoid dead space is to use the rule of thirds. Imagine that each image you see is divided into 9 parts by 2 equally spaced horizontal lines and 2 equally spaced vertical lines, like a tic-tac-toe game. In film and photography, the rule of thirds says that the important compositional elements should be placed along these lines or their intersections. For example, your interviewee's eyes should fall within the upper third of the frame, justified left or right. The rule of thirds gets you shots like this, and shots like this, and shots like this. The rule of thirds will help you really think about where to frame people and action. So there you go. Those are the top 5 tips for making your video pop. Now go out there and show me what you've learned.